Okay, here we go again. Um, I talk about running games 6 days a week, multiple times per day, but it is real. I'm out here playing Dungeons and Dragons as much as a man can. And
No,
tonight,
you're not. You give yourself a day off.
you know, to, um, even God rested. So, yeah, Mondays are my day off. Everybody needs to.
Reverse Garfield.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Is like Mondays are like I look forward to Monday. Wake up on a Monday. I don't feel like it's a Monday. It's like a Saturday. It's amazing. And then Tuesday's like my Sunday because I don't really get started until the evening. So I got plenty of time on my weekend. But my weekend's not here yet. You see, we're back with another episode of The Bards Are Back in Town. And the town they're back in is the Feywild, where Sweetbriar and Rowan managed to find themselves lost in the Feywild. Ran across a couple of different people they weren't too enticed to be around, and then ultimately befriended a horrific beast, and then
Yeah, Duo is really scary.
uh, and then made their way into a darkened corner of the Feywild, where they entered a tremendous tree, which, as they got deeper and deeper into it, started looking a lot like a nightclub. And coming on stage is uh, they announce Ty as they are brought on stage. And Rowan, you look up at the visage of yourself in your classic cable knit sweater and tartaned skirt. And they begin to play the violin in a masterful way. So I'm excited to see what happens next. But first, we have to do the round robin. During the round robin, we like to do four distinct things. The first thing we do is introduce ourselves. The second thing we do is share with one another and the world our pronouns. The third thing we do is introduce our characters. And the fourth and final thing is offer a vivid, aesthetic description of our characters so that they may live in each and every one of our brain holes, because I like to vividly hallucinate with my friends on the internet for 2 to 3 hours at a time, often multiple times per day, and as I stated, today is no different. So, without further ado, why don't you take it away and show the folks at home how it's done?
Did you sprain your wrist or are you getting ready to beat the shit out of someone?
My wrist
Either
hurts,
is
and
acceptable.
my wrist hurts because my joints are terrible. And if you give me 30 seconds so I can fasten my compression wrap in place, I will be there in a moment.
I'm not. Are you in a
Actually,
hurry?
no.
Are
Also, I
are
can
you
speak while I do this, so
you
it's
in a
fine.
hurry?
Or can I? Holy fuck!
I'm not.
Are you asking me or the audience?
What
I'm
audience?
I'm asking everyone. If there's
Well,
someone
I'm
out
not.
there actually seeing this, I
In the
mean,
audience.
Oh yeah,
I
you are the audience, my darling.
Yeah.
I have my plushies. They're a great audience.
we're all
We have
just
we
the
have our
universe
I have a lot of
experiencing
flushes.
we
itself.
have a lot of stuffed animals
Have
and
you
our
showed
cats.
Finn the
I showed Finn the
Cadbury?
clowns.
Oh, okay.
I think I showed Finn the clowns. I'll show Finn the clowns later if I didn't.
I saw
Anyway,
the class.
Send in the clowns.
okay.
There ought to be
Hello, I'm
clowns.
Wyatt. I'm Wyatt. This is name number 4 on this channel. Hopefully, the last one. We don't know at this point.
Just change them up, man. Keep it fresh. I'm about it.
Tis the life of a changeling, my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use he, it, and they pronouns. I'm dropping the they because I am a creature. Um, and I'm playing Sweetbriar today. Sweetbriar is a wonderful, lovely boy who I will show you art of very quickly. And I will also show you art of his little baby familiar boy. This is Sweetbriar.
So, Sweetbriar.
I love him. He's a good boy. This is not what he's wearing. I'm sorry. This is Theo, his little familiar boy.
Love it.
Who I also love. I will pull up an image of what Sweetbriar is wearing later in a couple of minutes because I cannot be fucked to find it while I'm sharing.
It happens. It happens to the best of us.
You know, some of the shit make photo roll is embarrassing. I'll be back.
Thank you. Finn.
Hello, I'm Finn, they, them, and I play Rowan, and yeah, he's the Rowan with the LGBT. Try to think of a new funny thing to say each time.
Representing.
Yeah, it's satyr, pale skin with freckles, brown fur on his goat legs, short, curly ginger hair, brown eyes with the rectangular goat pupils. Yeah, and he's like 5'4", and he got me present screen that this fit.
Yes.
So it was sort of a combination. It's like this like shape with like these bright like sparklier colors.
Yes.
And sparkly mushroom earring.
Of course. But of course.
Thanks to the Gleegies and their love of bioluminescent shroom.
They do. They love a good shroom. Excellent. Thanks, Finn. Nicely done. Well, I mean, there's just three of us. That just leaves me. DMing Hadley. He, him pronouns here for about 60% or so of your DMing needs. As the two of your characters look out over this very diverse crowd of Fey individuals, you see drinks being poured and people imbibing and dancing as the fiddle of this, that's Tig right there on the stage, begins to crescendo, and the band behind him starts to come in and lay down some pretty fat beats. And these folks are really reveling in it and starting to dance. What do you do?
Rowan.exe has stopped working.
Windows
shut down sound.
Yeah, we see the little swirling loading dots.
It's the rainbow of death.
Yeah, it's the beach ball of death. Swirling over Rowan's head. What do you do as you see the doppelganger of your companion, Sweetbriar, take the stage and begin to entertain the crowd?
I think Sweetbriar's kind of just like, this is pretty par for the fucking course. As he's like looking over at this doppelganger and is suddenly very glad that they're dressed differently. Because if it's gonna, he's also just, not paying too much attention to that. He's just kind of thinking, if this turns into a kill your double situation, it turns into a kill your double situation. It's loud.
As you say that,
he's not said any of
to
this
yourself.
Out loud.
You. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking back over my notes. Something I rarely do.
There's like different thoughts go through Rowan's head. It's like, okay, is there a change when committing identity theft? Did I have a secret twin and my dad not tell me? That would not surprise me.
Can I get an Arcana or Insight check, please, from Rowan?
Sweetbriar is kind of just vibing with the fact that thank God his name did not hold much power over him anymore.
What were the options?
Arcana or Insight.
Okay, I'll go with insight since it's higher. 21.
You think that's exactly what happened. There is a changeling trading on your brand.
Identity theft is no joke.
It's no
Call
joke
life block.
at all. Yeah, seriously.
Like,
Roll a history check to see if you got lifelock.
It's
Um,
fantasy life block, guys.
Fey life block.
It's like life alert, but for young people.
yeah, yeah. Because anybody young, they don't. If they fall down and die, they'll just be grateful for the sweet release.
It would be if I fall and die tonight, I will be grateful because finally I can rest.
Damn.
This is America. Yeah. What do you
The
do
global
with that?
network of capital essentially functions.
Yep. To separate the worker from the means of production. Um, yeah, Rowan, what do you do with this very clear, very astute distillation of what is happening in front of you?
I don't know. It's like you can't make a scene about it because then now that's just gonna fuck everything up. I don't know.
This ain't a scene; it's a goddamn arms race.
As the two of you stagnate for a second, you see Anil fly back towards you, and she is holding three shot glasses. Sort of her arms are just wrapped around all three of them. And she looks around the side of these three tall, thin, very large shot glasses and says, "Ready for a drink?"
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need it.
You can have mine.
And Anil looks up at you and says, "Thanks." And sort of worms around to try and push the one against her chest out to Rowan.
Yeah, I'll take it. I looked at Squeak. I'm like, what can you drink? I don't know what you are.
It goes.
I give him water.
Hydrate the squeak.
Okay. Roll me an animal handling check, please.
$17 total, 13 plus 4.
As you keep bringing the water skin close to them, you see their mouth start to like open, like it's gonna try and eat the whole wineskin and maybe your goddamn hand. And I think we just see you like squeeze this water skin and start spraying it into this thing's mouth, and it's like when you spray into the mouth big hound, it's a little floppy. It's like
Yeah, it's like what I had to do to clean that fucking burner the other day.
yes. And Rowan, as you drink that shot, can I get a Constitution saving throw, please?
Three.
I
do have inspiration, but I just think this is funny.
Yeah, I think that's an appropriate application. As you throw this shot back, it seems to affect you as it crosses the threshold of your lips. And as you gulp it down, you feel it start to tingle inside of you, and almost immediately, it's like it rushes into your bloodstream, and we see those goat pupils go. And as they do, the lights in here start to diffuse and almost blur together. And you hear this fiddle music starting to echo and trail and twist inside of your mind. And as you reel a little bit from this, Sweetbriar, you see this pixie. She's managed to sort of shift down one of the drinks and is just like turning her whole body with that glass upright and just pouring like directly into her gullet. And then she drops that glass and starts with the other one, this time using her other hand to lift it. And except for a small trail on the edges of her lips, she puts down that entire shot. And she drops that glass, which shatters on the ground, wipes two droplets from her lips, and says, "Let's dance," and begins to fly around, very obviously inebriated, and start to gyrate and twist and flex in very uncomfortable ways, both for her probably and for any crowd watching her.
Sweetbriar is holding Theo like to their chest and like talking to him.
What do you say?
Hey, buddy, if I ever start acting like that, put me out of my misery, please.
You see the little dragon claws curl up and thumbs up, and they like wink at you.
And he gets a little kiss on the nose.
Just sort of not mad at it, just reflexive.
As dogs do when they scratch their little face.
Yeah. Rowan, you are in a very interesting altered state right now. Where does your mind wander?
Thinking about what this person could have done with their identity. I don't think there's much reputation to ruin. Ruin has done some shit. But just like have they been like with his family? Like have they been like living him not just as like for the fame, but like for like everything?
An interesting query for sure. What do you do?
It goes to like up against the wall or like a corner or something, like sits down, squeak, and just like sits down, like uses them as a pillow.
Um, Excellent. Roll me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Artificial 20.
You keep feeling this sensation. It's hard to sleep, obviously. There's just a lot of noise. People dancing, and there's a bunch of woo girls in the distance, most of them pixies. And
He's not really trying to sleep. He's just being sad and confused.
Sure. As you, we see this sort of like twisted visual of people moving past and lights being interrupted and the swirling sensation. You you see a dwarven woman stand in front of you, and she looks down and says, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, very unconvincingly.
She reaches down and grabs your arm and begins to right you sympathetically.
Thanks.
She grumbles. And looks at you. You seated is about as tall as she is, total. She's a little taller than you on your butt and slouched. But she is a dense looking dwarvish woman, and she has a beard that puts mine to shame, unfortunately. It is of a beautiful auburn, which the braid of which is as thick as my beard is. Yeah, like now. And then it braids together more tightly from about the middle of her chest down to near the floor, honestly. If this thing wasn't braided up, it would drag between her legs.
Majestic.
She is also wearing um, some scant armor. It is obviously more for show, or maybe it's just the critical points that need to be protected. She's got a bit of a video game style inappropriate armor on.
She's dressed like Kira yesterday.
Yeah, not on, yeah, not on, completely wrong. It does, seem to be, like metal, which it would probably take something metal to have those, melons up, given her, proportion to body size. And, she's thicker than a Snicker and is clearly unafraid to show off all that thickness because she's got like groin armor. Yeah, it is also plate armor. And upon further inspection, her beard, as the curtains, does in fact match the carpet. Um, yeah, which is unabashedly plush. And you would have thought she was wearing some thin red like leggings. No, that's just the thick curly auburn hair on her legs as well. It's a look.
Gender. Very.
And she says, "You probably don't want to sleep in a club."
No, I don't want to. I think a changeling is taking my identity.
And
I don't feel about it.
she starts to look around, and she says, who's stealing your identity?"
The one that was just performing. There's like,
And she turns around, and from her lowered position, we can't really see the stage at first. Until the crowd starts to shift just a little bit, and we see Ty on the stage, finishing up this violin solo with a flourish. And there's just this cacophony from the band in this final resonant note. And we see her eyes go wide. And she turns around and looks at Rowan, and then looks back up at the stage, and then looks over at Sweetbriar and says, "Are you seeing this?"
Sweeper kind of like glanced over and like walk closer and nod and just like, yeah, we gave our names up by accident when we got here. I'm not surprised this is happening at all.
She looks. She still looks shocked. And as that bow is drawn across the violin, slow and sonorous, the energy in here changes pretty significantly. People aren't dancing. People are stopped. There's faint whispers, if any conversation at all. Even the pixies on the far side at the bachelorette party have died down or have toned down their ecstatic expressions so that this song can play. And I, Rowan, can I get another Constitution saving throw?
Okay. Also, I'm gonna look to Briar. It's like, wait, where's Dua? They still here?
I haven't been keeping track, honestly. I've been trying to avoid a kneel.
Roll me a perception check, please. Both of you.
Okay. Wait, what was the first one?
Perception.
Okay, I'll just do
Nine,
that first then.
9 plus 9, 18.
Okay.
Wait, what am I supposed to roll?
Constitution, then perception.
Okay. Constitution 14
Okay.
and perception 10.
Okay. Rowan, you begin to hear notes hang in the air. And they almost ring like bells as they echo inside of this silent club. And you hear and it almost sounds like more of a viol or even a cello, how unnaturally low these tones are. And you hum the next part in line. Sweetbriar, you listen and you're hearing this soft, sonorous song being played, and then you hear Rowan humming along with it.
Is that like. Can I roll with Arcana to see if that's like magically induced or if Rowan just knows it?
Roll me a history check.
History time. That's going to be a 21. 16 plus 5.
Yeah, you recognize this song. It was a song that the Bards, band of Bards, talked about, and you'd heard it before you even met them. And it is a sonorous rendition of "Hurt." And Rowan, we see you begin to weep at the memory of Bjord disappearing to this song.
PTSD. Kind of the hug squeak. Like a stuffed animal.
As you do, he squeaks like a balloon with just a little bit of air escaping from both ends.
Theo will also go and give you comfort, just kind of coil around your shoulders a little bit and just snuggle. Sweetbriar looks at a loss. He does not know how to handle this. How does one comfort upset person? How does one handle upset drunk person? How does one. The boy has so few social skills despite being like raised in the aristocracy. He knows like practical, I know how to eat with this fork versus this fork, this spoon versus this spoon. I know how to make small talk, but what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, as you struggle Uh, uh, Rowan, you feel these thick, uh, powerful, short arms wrap around your shoulders, and you feel this dwarven woman wrap her arms around you, her metal armor cold against your fishnet covered body, and she leans in and says, "It's okay. We can do something about this." And we hear the last of those slow, drawn out tones begin to fade into echoes. And as the last of that tone rings in the air, there is an uproarious applause from the crowd. There's hooting and hollering and screaming, and you see Tig raise their arms in the air, bow in one hand, violin in the other, and take a deep bow and then stand back up. And cross their arms in front of them and smile as if they're being embraced by the crowd, and then bow slightly and turn and exit stage left.
I would like to go after them.
Okay.
Theo will uncurl from around Rowan's shoulders and settle back into the. Didn't he? Nope. Sweetbriar's wearing this big like skirt with like a couple of petticoats under it, very soft looking. Theo and he all of his skirts with petticoats that he wears, he sews in little like hammocks kind
Right.
of
Yeah.
for Theo. So Theo can just kind of like hide in there.
Sure.
So he's gonna kind of so Theo's gonna go into his like usual spot, like under the like second petticoat maybe.
Sure.
He's out of 4 that he's wearing, and like settle into his little hammocks to take a little nap while Sweetbriar Sweetbriar sews in pockets to all of his clothing. He sews in hammocks for his dragon. And he's gonna head off towards the back, towards stage left.
Ron?
Yeah, he'll like get up like slowly, kind of staggering, and then follow.
Yeah, as you get up, this dwarven woman sort of gives you a pat on the hip and says, "We'll get through this."
Thanks. Why do you care?
She looks hurt.
I didn't mean like that. I just mean like I don't know you. I'm surprised that like someone who doesn't know me would like care.
Why wouldn't I care? You're obviously in distress.
Thanks. I'm sorry. I'm not used to people like being nice like
Caring?
that. Yeah.
Well, what kind of people do you hang out with? And she looks both frustrated and concerned for you.
Well, I'm better now. I have much better friends now, but the last like 5 years of my life have not been that great.
She sort of hangs her head, and she says, "I've had a few bad years myself, and but I really did find the way to handle all that is to help others in order to help myself."
He just sort of nods. Just like, yeah.
She looks up and she still has a bit of a concerned look on her face, but she says, "Listen, you'll get through this." And she watches as you walk after your compatriot. And Sweetbriar, as you move forward into the crowd, can I get an investigation check, please?
19 plus 5, 24.
Okay. As you start making your way towards the stage, you realize that there are some attendants to make sure that nobody goes up onto the stage. There's a barricade about 5 feet away, and you see that these two attendants are sort of looking at the crowd, which is thinning out as people sort of go back and order drinks and whatnot. But as you look ahead through the crowd a little bit farther, you see a door just beside a little raised tier where the pixies are having their little party and getting bottle service. And you see that door is sitting just faintly ajar.
Misty what level spell is Misty Step actually? Hold on.
You can't see in it, so
I was
it's
gonna
just.
Misty Step to the door. I'm just looking
Oh,
up what level spell it is so that I
you
know
don't
what I'm doing.
need to. The crowd is thinning out
Oh.
sufficiently that as you're
Okay.
making your way, you find yourself not 15 feet away from it.
Oh, sweet. Then I'm just gonna head to the door.
Yeah,
and,
it's not quite the crush of a crowd it was just a moment ago.
Okay. Okay. Then never mind. I'm not using a spell slot for that shit.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna walk up to the door and is there anyone guarding the door? Or is it just a door that's open?
No, it looks like it just didn't shut all the way.
Well, then I'm going
When
through the door.
somebody went through it. Yeah, as you sort of reach and pull this door open and look inside, you can see that there's a sort of hallway that actually is lower than the stage. The stage is actually right there. There's a black wrought iron sort of banister and guardrail on that second level. But essentially, you can go back, and if you need to get up backstage, you can go down that hall and up the stairs onto the stage. And you don't immediately see Ty. And then as you're stepping into this space, you see them walk from backstage very gingerly down those stairs and down an illuminated hallway at the end of this corridor.
I am continuing to follow them.
Okay. Rowan, are you following suit?
I want to follow, but I also want to get Dua here since they have the compass. So
Yes, as you look over, you see him. He is standing shirtless in front of the stage. He's talking to a very large male dryad and a tabaxi woman. And he is clearly inebriated. Clearly inebriated. He's got a shirt tucked into his belt. He's got
I thought you said he was shirtless.
yeah, the shirt's tucked into his belt. He's got 3 or 4 of the little glow stick necklaces around his neck, one around his or 2 different colors together on his head, and he's clearly slurring his speech, and it still has this little sling bag over his shoulder. He's sweating profusely. He's clearly was really dancing it up for Tyke's performance.
is it even worth trying to go ask if he still has it? He probably fucking drank it or some shit.
Theo was holding the compass.
Yeah.
Oh, Theo's been holding it this whole time?
Yeah, Theo's still got it too. He's holding his little hands well tucked away under the skirt, like staring at it.
Oh, okay, well,
I'll also say
then.
this: you don't really need it that much unless you lose this guy. But right now, he's only about 40 feet away.
Okay, well, then I'll just go follow the briar.
Okay. As you look to your left and see your half elf friend trying to flirt with uh, two different creatures, he's a bard. What do you want from him? And
I'm still proud.
There is redemption, the bard who can't flirt.
Yet.
No, he never will.
Neither will Fiend. They're the unhorny bards.
I know, I love it. I love the dichotomy with Kira. Yeah, she makes up the difference. So as you head down that hallway, Sweetbriar, you get around to the corner and you see there is a hallway here. That on the left side, you see crates and boxes and all the sorts of loadout materials stowed. And as you look down the other side of the hallway, you see a door labeled Chorus, and it is two large doors. You see another room to your right. And it lists a couple of different things: key, grip, da 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 da, rigor, da da da. And as you get down to the third door, you see a almost like cartoon image of Tig's face, and Tig written in glittery pink, where the eye is like a heart. And it seems very appropriate. But if this ain't the room, you don't know which one is.
I'm going in.
Okay.
Immediately.
As you open the door, you hear, I don't want any visitors right now, please.
Quite honestly, I don't really care at the moment.
You see them sort of powder, and then turn and look at you. And you can see that a very discerning difference between your friend and this individual is that their goat eyes are far more yellow, than like a yellowy orange, than they are the brown of Rowan. And they scoot back and stand up, and you can see they're wearing a silk robe with a quilted collar, and a little more than like a negligee underneath of matching satin. And as they stand up, the tassels of their belt fall to the side, and you see them rise up, and they do seem to be a little taller than Rowan is. And he looks at you and says, "You can get out of my room right now," and points out the door and starts making his way towards you.
I would do that, but I want to tell you a couple of things you've got wrong about my friend's appearance.
As they come dangerously close to palming your face, you say, "My friend's appearance," and you can see their eyes through the slats of their fingers as they look at you and hiss, "What?"
You have Red's eyes wrong. First off, you're a little bit too tall.
As you say, a little bit too tall, you are grabbed by the neck very rapidly and yanked into the room, and the door slams. and Rowan, you come around the corner just to hear a door slam.
I'm getting my ass kicked. Hi.
Well, obviously, well, I mean, if I see that it's I've already said that it has fucking name on it, so yeah, it's this is like that's this door. I'll try to open it.
Yeah, as you go into the room, you see your likeness in a pink satin robe and negligee, and they are beginning to try and wrestle Sweetbriar, trying to keep their
Sweetbriar's not
footing.
fighting. Sweetbriar's
Uh,
not fighting them. They can do whatever the fuck. Like,
then okay, so what you see is that this individual spin around and put Sweetbriar up against the wall, and then we hear the latch unlock on the door, and we see from Sweetbriar's perspective the face of Ty with the face of Ty behind him, and Rowan comes into the room. And seeing
I
this
think is
recognition, Ty turns around and looks directly at Rowan.
I think Sweetbriar, from where they're being pinned to the wall by their neck, will look at Rowan and like choke out, "Hi, Red," because we're not using real names right now. Fuck no.
I mean, clever of you to because Rowan means red.
What do you do, Rowan?
Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, very much so.
If you put me down and close the door, we can work this out pretty easily.
Roll
I have a
me.
sparkly. I'm not afraid to use it.
Roll me first, Sweetbriar, a persuasion check with disadvantage. And
I mean, I don't need to roll disadvantage. I already had a crit fail, so 1 plus 8.
Nice. And do you say that, Rowan?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll me an intimidation check, please.
Very intimidating little creature. 14.
This other version of you looks at you and looks at the little white puffball under your arm.
I thought they were pink.
Yeah, they're like I mean, they've got sort of a. They're not like they look like Kirby. They're not quite that pink. They're more like pearlescent white.
Pre-pink flamingo.
Yeah, just like a hint, just a sousson. Maybe like in the shimmer, you see the pink. Um, and it's from that fine textured skin it's got.
Wait, what does their skin feel like? I don't know.
Shark skin. And like it's made up
Paper.
thousands and thousands of little tines. It's not as rough as sandpaper, unless you go the opposite direction with it.
I'm thinking I meant sandpaper as in, like, you know, the grit that you use to polish stone sculptures, like they're really
Yes,
fine.
yeah, you're like 1,000 grit. You're getting up
8,000
there.
grit.
Not quite that smooth. Just because as you touch it, it changes the direction, and you can feel the texture more easily.
Aquatic?
Maybe. And
Amphibian.
as this as Tide looks back, they furrow their brow at Rowan and begin to squeeze at Sweetbriar's throat.
Theo starts barking from under their skirt.
Sweet. Roll me an intimidation check.
19 plus 6, 25.
How does Theo? How does Theo hit that?
I think Theo, I'm saying this only for flavor and it's not at all true. Theo has the actor feat. Theo can mimic
Nice.
anything except human speech. So he is like, oh no, I can feel, because Theo being close to Sweetbriar's body in the way that he is can
Yeah,
feel like, I imagine, can,
absolutely.
and being technically cold blooded, can feel the change in temperature and like move.
I mean, they're
I don't
also
think he's
just
cold
your
blooded. I don't know.
familiar. I mean, like,
Yeah, he's my familiar.
I,
He
I
can feel
mean,
the change in
yeah,
breathing and the change in blood flow and all of that very, very easily.
yeah,
And I think that he remembers a story that Sweetbriar once upon a time told him about Cerberus. And he was like, "Oh, Cerberus is just a big hellhound with 3 heads."
yeah.
And so he mimics that sound of 3 dogs barking at the same time.
Amazing.
And
Uh,
I also think for flavor he adds, because I can cast spells through him, so he can, I imagine, cast cantrips at least.
I mean, at your leisure.
And so I imagine he kind of just casts prestidigitation to make it sound like it's 3 dogs barking and not just him.
Amazing. Little three dog night here. I love that. As this just cacophonous din of barking emits from your petticoats, you see this figure stagger backwards, absolutely startled, and drops you bodily. You're not going to take any damage from the fall, but you land and are sort of slouched over. And this person turns and looks and sees Rowan sort of standing between them and the exit. And Sweetbriar, who they're not quite as concerned about at this point, and they look around at the room, and their attention fixates on the vanity for just a second. Can I get perception checks from the two of you?
That's gonna be a fucking, what the fuck is that number? 9 plus 9, 18.
Okay.
15.
Yeah. Both of you can see Rowan to some degree easier by way of angle, a stack of papers on the vanity. They look like maybe about 8 to 10 sheets of like vellum, and from your vantage point, Rowan, you can see that there is a wax seal embossed on the top sheet, with some like ribbons that have like a silvery print of runes on them.
From where he is now on the floor, Sweetbriar is gonna look up at this guy and just, I really just wanted to work out a deal with you. Honestly, we didn't have to do this, man.
And he looks back down at you and furrows his brow again, and says, "You don't know shit." And I already made a deal. And then rushes over and bundles up these sheets of vellum that were laying in a leather roll. And they start to roll them up really quickly, and turn and look towards Rowan as if they're going to make a break for
Okay,
I, sorry, continue.
well, what's that whip spell? It's like Thorn Whip or Vine Whip or something like
it.
that. Which one?
Both of those are spells.
Wait, I thought it was no. One's a Pokemon move.
That's
I think
Thorn
both
Whip,
of
I
them are
think.
spells. Vine
Uh,
Whip is a Pokemon move. Thorn Whip is.
yeah.
Which one
Thorn
is
Whip is a spell.
Why can't I find it? I could have sworn that it is one that I can learn.
Let's find out together.
I swear I've seen it before.
I want so desperately to cast Academic Anguish on this creature. Because I think it's funny.
Here, let me make sure you're activated so that you can see all the things.
Well, if I can't use the whip, so I have an actual whip. I don't know if it would be as effective. But...
I use Pathfinder rules when it comes to whips, and that is that if on a hit, they can be used to potentially trip. So if you hit, you won't do any damage, but you can essentially grapple them, and with a sufficient strength check, you can try and knock them off balance.
Yeah, I want to try to grapple.
Sweet. Roll me an attack with the whip.
Okay. Okay, gonna use the inspiration.
Okay.
It's barely a. It's fucking 8.
Can I assist? Can I give help action?
What would you do to help?
Theo can do things. Theo can kind of weave between the legs of the guy to try and trip him up so that the whip is easy, so that it's easier to whip him.
Okay, roll me an acrobatics check, please.
Gotcha.
Or you could just also do something.
Or you could also just do something. Or this could be the thing you're doing.
I rolled a natural 20, so
Okay.
So it's a 24 total.
Excellent. As you see this whip come unfurled, and you see with their prancing goat legs very clearly able to just right over the whip. We see them sort of come back down, and as they regain their footing, we just see Theo and this person goes to take a step and falls face first onto the ground before they can even move forward. They're just falling.
After that, I would like to tackle them.
Great. Roll me a athletics check.
Athletics time. I can deal with the -1.
You can do it.
13 minus 1, 12.
Okay. As they start to try and clamber to their feet, I think we just see you like leap up, and then just like throw your body weight into this person. It's not tactful. It's not strategic. It's just a full commitment to what you're doing. And we see before they can sort of get up into a crouched position, just see them wham, and it makes some noise as their face bounces against the floor. And Rowan, this person is on the ground. They have a little fairy pseudo dragon wrapped around their legs. You can see that Theo has wrapped their neck around their tail and is starting to squeeze. And then you see Sweetbriar come in and just drop the people's elbow on Tig.
And the fold-up chair.
Yeah, there's a folding chair. You want to grab the folding chair?
Well, first I want to lock the door and put heat metal on the doorknob.
Nice.
It would be great to have in an interrogation.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do right now. It's episode. What color is my underwear?
Nice. As you turn around, we see that doorknob glow bright red, and we see the like thin aluminum start to melt off of it, and we see the door start to singe and sear, and the paint start to bubble off. And when this cools, there's just sort of the slag of what once was a doorknob. And we can see where metal has melted out around the latch, and as it cools, we see you turn around. What do you do, Rowan?
I gotta think of like something clever to say. I don't know, it's just like, what the fuck do you want? Why are you me?
They look up and they go, "I'm not Yumi."
Haha, very funny.
But they have this very straight laced expression on their face. And then they realize that they misheard you, and look with a bit of shock, and say, "I'm contractually obligated." And you see them pull this leather wrap of papers from underneath them and sort of slap it on the ground. And they try and pick themselves back up, but Sweetbriar, it actually doesn't take much to keep them on the ground.
The twink can hold someone down? Incredible.
I checked.
It's another twink, so it's twink on twink violence.
It is definitely
Twink
twink on
violence,
twink
and one of
violence.
I also imagine that Sweetbriar's petticoats are kind of heavy.
Yeah, it
There's
also
four
helps
of
that
them.
your pseudo dragon is giving them essentially disadvantage.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fair.
but yeah, they sort of sprawl out, and as they present this roll of parchment or vellum, you see it roll partially open. And as you look down at it, Rowan, you see a not unfamiliar sigil.
And what if I just set your contract on fire? What would happen then?
Nothing, get burn it.
What do you mean paper?
If it's magically imbued, maybe not.
Bingo, dipshit.
I'm gonna slap him.
Roll me an attack, please.
And I have advantage because I'm on top of it.
Yeah, unarmed strike with advantage.
Well, my first one was a 20 plus 1, so 21.
Magnificent.
I do literally no damage because my strength modifier is -2.
That's what I thought. But yeah, we see you just like thwap, and they look at you like, okay.
I could
Cop an
insult-
attitude.
I could insult you to death, or you could let me keep hitting you. You have the option there.
I get you could. I don't think you could hit me to death. So whatever.
I'm gonna cast Vicious Mockery.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Now you have to mock him viciously.
Give me 30 seconds.
Okay, well they're fighting out. What else? What can I learn from these papers?
Roll me an investigation check, please.
17.
Okay. As you look at these papers, they are written in Sylvan. And it is this contract hereby imbues to, and you see a, what languages does Tig speak?
I think it's common, infernal, Sylvan, thieves can't because rogue, and then it says Elvish, but that's because there's no option for sign language. But
okay, you see where the name is filled in looks illegible to you, and the ownership of and all inherent benefits of the name Tig O Salcrub. Is that how it's said?
Steel Creep.
Seal Creep. And it goes on to list that it is a contract that must be renewed by both parties annually, uh, and that neither party can terminate this agreement any sooner than 1 year. As you flip through the pages, you see there's all sorts of somewhat personal details about Tig's life and sort of like what it means to be Tig. To the point that it really is sort of like a trip down PTSD memory lane. And as you get to the last page, you can see that wax seal more clearly now. And it the runes on it sort of shimmer, and as you look at that wax stamp, it says Extra Planar Records and has a number of different planes swirling around the world.
Is it? Would I be able to tell whether this was like the original document that he signed, or if this is a different one?
It is definitely not the document that you signed, but it is a contract between this individual, whose name you can't currently understand, and Extraplanar Records. And it doesn't take but a minute for you to realize that this guy is essentially being paid to play Tig on behalf of Extraplanar Records.
What the fuck? If they wanted me, why the fuck did they? The fuck did they get rid of us?
You were probably in breach of contract.
Well, I'm sorry we got stuck in another fucking dimension.
And that's not my problem.
Well, why the fuck are you part of this? Why would you sign up to commit identity theft?
They recoil, as if you just said something ignorant. Roll me an insight check, Rowan.
That's a good old wait, what was it?
Insight.
6.
Yeah, you don't know why the fuck they would be shocked. You stole somebody's identity.
Kind of just like kicked it, like they're being put on the guts. Just kind of like kicked them in the face, not like a hard kick, just kind of like a nudge, like come on, spit it out.
Do you want to do anything here, Sweetbriar?
Oh, I was gonna cast Vicious Mockery on him earlier. I'm
Yes.
still going to.
What do you say viciously?
God, sometimes it's better to keep your mouth shut and give the impression that you're stupid rather than to open it and remove all doubt, you fucking twat.
That's a wisdom saving throw, right?
DC 16.
What happens when they fail miserably?
They
They
take
cry.
they take 6 damage.
Jesus. Yeah, as you nudge their face with your hoof, Rowan, we hear this this mocking pour out of Sweetbriar. And you see them look like they did get kicked in the face hard. And they turn towards Sweetbriar, and they start to wedge their hand down towards their chest.
I'm gonna move one of my feet and put it on the center of his back and like kind of stomp into it so that he can't grab it.
Roll me a strength check, please.
Oh god. Fuck. Roll please, dice. Oh, That's not too bad. That's a 17 minus 2, so 15.
Insufficient. As
Unfortunate.
you go to pick up your foot, by the time you put it down, they're starting to roll over, and they pull out a little laminated and embossed card. Uh, and they look up with those yellowy orange goat eyes and say, "I'm a fucking professional." And they hold up a card. And Sweetbriar, as you look at it, it has the following letters across it: SAG-AFTRA.
SAG
Dash
dash TRAF
AFTRA. Yeah.
Taggerford? I'm not saying this aloud. I'm trying to put it together in my brain.
They're not technically words, but give me an insight check
Okay. I'm
or
assuming this is
or a
the.
history check.
I'm
I hope
assuming this
I
is.
gotta write this down to comprehend it.
It's gonna be a 12. 6 plus 6.
You're not. You swear you've seen this combination of letters before, but you can't quite place it. You sure as hell don't feel confident saying it out loud. Rowan,
What were the letters again? I'm sorry, I had to say it a million times.
SAG
Okay.
dash AFTRA.
SAG AFTRA.
Okay, well, I guess I'll look at the card and see that, and it's like, I don't know what this means. Use your fucking words.
uh, you idiot! It's my union card. And it sort of shimmers with a holographic, obviously magical energy as the word union is spoken.
To your union and hope they'll provide. Sorry.
Oh yeah, IRL. I don't know what that is.
It is the Union of Screen Actors Guild, and yeah. So as you look on, you realize that this person is specifically employed to play you for at least the next year, contingent upon renewal.
Okay. So that's your union card. You're being paid to do this by someone. I don't know.
Extra Planar Records, and by way of my agent, who got me the job.
Well, your agent did a terrible job at
Um,
finding you work that's not going to get someone after you, but I guess I can't blame you for what you're employed to do.
You not like have a moral compass, like not thinking all about the fact that what the fuck this is doing to me.
We are stupid, to be fair, but I understand that this is problematic for you, and I apologize.
to Rowan's point, they turn and stand themselves up, sort of kicking off Theo as if a pair of too tight underwear, and lean back against the vanity, and they reach down to a cabinet and open it up and withdraw a silver pack of cigarettes, which they spring open and then pull a cigarette and apply it to a long ebony filter.
Briar will offer a light.
And they look down quizzically, and then as you light their cigarette, they stand up, take a slow puff, and exhale, almost hissing through their teeth, and say, "So you are here to get your name back?"
Yeah.
Uh, and he takes another puff thoughtfully and says, "How do you think that's going to work?"
I don't fucking know.
And at this dismissive response, they look a little forlorn. Uh, and they look down at Sweetbriar and at Theo, who's still like
What's Squeak doing?
Squeak is just like compressed under your arm uh, until you do something to essentially activate them. Uh,
Seriously.
Theo saw someone like choke their dad and was like, "I hate you. I will kill you." But he's like a little chihuahua.
yeah.
Mm.
And they look back out at the two of you and are like, "There's a contract. It's not like I can undo the contract. And to be quite honest, it's not like I have a whole lot of say on which contract I take."
We weren't aware at the time that you were given at the time of confrontation that we gave you a contract, that you were given a contract, and I apologize for startling you, but I assumed that this would end badly if I didn't at least get some sort of surprise on you. So I am sorry.
They again look somewhat shocked, and then, for the first time since you walked in the room, look at ease to some degree. And they sit back down in the chair and continue to smoke, tapping the ash into a small crystal ashtray beside the vanity. And he looks back up at Rowan and says, "Anything from the brainstorm yet?"
Shut up.
Yeah, I didn't think so. And then looks back at Sweetbriar and says, "Well, since you're the brains of the operation, maybe you can thoughtfully take your friend out of here, and we can avoid any more unnecessary friction between us. And if it really means that much to you, I will forego this contract once it has run its course."
How can I trust that you're going to?
Um, he looks at you as if his eyes could turn to icicles and stab through yours. And then he softens a moment and starts to smile. And he says, "What? You can't trust yourself?"
I was going to say I'll marry you and divorce you by the time the contract's up, but I mean, Sweetbriar is very clearly joking as he says this. I need that to be so clear.
Yeah, I don't think that this guy would take it seriously.
Good, thank
Uh,
God.
and yeah, he leans against the vanity and sort of shakes his head and takes another puff from this cigarette and says, "Honestly, you best be on your way. You don't want the bosses finding out that we had a clandestine meeting, do you?"
Everyone's just like seething.
Where can we get to extraplanar records from here?
I mean, find somebody with a teleportation circle or plane shift, and you see his eyes start to sort of shift back and forth. I don't know.
I want to insight that.
Okay.
15 plus 6, 21.
Yeah, they're totally full of shit. It's very likely they know a very direct way to get to extraplanar records and are obviously hiding it.
If you don't tell me, I'll have Theo bite off your balls.
He looks at you and grabs the hem, the lacy hem of their skirt from this negligee and pulls it up to reveal a biological absence,
Then I'll
and smirks at
I'll amend.
you while puffing on their cigarette
I'll
again.
pull up my own skirt and do the same shit, and I'll be like, okay, then I'll have him eat your cervix.
No, it's just smooth. It's just
fair.
yeah, no, it's not. Yeah,
Fair.
Rowan pulled
Then
out his dagger and was like, "Had a fucking enough of this. Tell us where it is."
where what is?
A fucking portal.
Um, roll me an insight check, please.
18.
Okay. As you look at your visage, drawing this smoke, for the faintest moment, you see their eyes flash down and across the room.
Okay, I'm gonna keep holding him at knife point and tell Briar to go in that direction.
Briar will do what you tell him to.
Investigation.
Okay. 16, 11 plus 5. Goose.
Silly goose.
Little face is speaking up.
Goose. Oh, I just got wrong. Cat face. Yes. Yeah, as you head across the room, you see a really nice, like, weekender bag. And as you pull the leather handles apart, it sort of folds open, Mary Poppins style. And as you look inside, you see it is a little bigger on the inside, but not by a whole lot. It's maybe double or triple the volume. It's not like a bag of holding exactly. And you can see a couple of different outfits and some beautiful platform boots and a few other makeup kit and all that sort of stuff, and a couple of instruments. And then you look down and to the left, and you see a little wooden box with sort of a dome over the top of it that seems to be some sort of gray-looking steel.
I will be taking that box.
Okay. As you lift that up, you hear the chair scoot out, and Theo furls up, or fluffs up, and we hear Squeak go, Squeak! And Rowan, as you look out, knife drawn, you see this individual is obviously panicked. And they look at Sweetbriar and go, "You can't use that. You can't use that."
Why can't I? What's stopping me?
And then they just sort of look down and to the right, and then shut up.
Why don't you want me to?
You couldn't if you wanted to. And they clam up. They sort of clam up again.
Okay, I couldn't if I wanted to. Why?
I'm not saying shit. And they continue to smoke on their cigarette.
I will. I would like to. I would like to. I can't get Zone of Truth because I don't have the spell slots. Damn it.
Oh, I do. I think
I don't think I have the right level for it. It's fine. Give me a moment. I can do a thing with my bard shit. I think.
No, I use Zone of Truth, and I haven't used any spell slots yet, so yeah, I didn't see the point.
You have it. You got Zone of Truth.
Oh, fair. I was going to unsettling words this man and make him tell me things by unsettling him.
Does unsettling words do something besides damage?
It doesn't do damage.
What does it do?
You roll a bardic inspiration die, and the creature has to subtract the number rolled from the next saving throw it makes. So it's
Great.
not actually helpful to me.
It is help for your friend.
Well, is he making saving throws?
He's about to. If somebody casts Zone of Truth.
Then yes, I'm gonna unsettling words him.
Okay. So wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, it's a No, it's not a saving throw.
Oh.
It just happens. I just have to roll a d6.
Great. What are these unsettling words?
In the back of his head, he hears someone talking about how much they'd love to take his bones out of his body and paint them, and arrange them in a museum, carve them apart, and give them resin windows, and see how his skin would look transparent and diaphanized.
You see them start to look over their shoulder, and they puff their cigarette nervously, and then they look back the other way and turn around, and we see them looking in the mirror with this shocked look on their face. And you're going to cast Zone of Truth?
They have to subtract 5 from their roll.
5 from their roll. I've got great news. There's no way that hits your DC. As a spotlight in this room shines down in a 15-foot cone, we almost see the rest of the light in this room turn dark. And we see the long cigarette filter and just the last few puffs of this cigarette with little wisps of smoke highlighted in the stark white light. And they're looking in the mirror, and even from as we see it, it is like us looking at our own reflection. And there is a pause in the air for a moment. Rowan, what do you ask this person?
Why did you take this job?
They gaze, eyes unblinking, at their reflection, your reflection. And they say, because I'm one of the best. And it was a great role.
Pretentious fuck. What does that box do?
It is the way we move across the plains.
How do we use it?
Open it and see where you want to go.
And why did you say that we couldn't if we wanted to?
You can't.
I don't like that. Okay. Why can't I?
Because you're not me.
I mean, quite frankly, you don't look correct. for rent either.
Um, they begin to go on a bit of a diatribe about how um, they don't need to be an exact copy of who Tig is. They look into the mirror and say, I'm what the crowd expects Tig to be, not who Tig is.
At this point, have I realized that that's my actual name, or do I still like not?
Uh, Yeah, you definitely get it in this space. You definitely understand. Like when you heard that name announced, it was a strange, disorienting sensation. As he says it now into the mirror, and you see your own face say it back. You at least know it belongs to you, at least in your heart and soul.
Will you honestly drop this contract after a year?
It is generally uncouth to maintain the visage of someone you've met when they are clearly in need. And they begin to smoke the last thin bit of this cigarette.
And what will happen if they find out that we've met you?
I won't live long enough to fulfill the contract.
Thus nullifying it, but unfortunately ending you. All right. And Sweetbriar will turn to Rowan and say, I think we should leave.
Well, what are we supposed to do now? Just wait a year?
I think we should find someone else with means of traveling planes, because I don't want this individual killed for taking a job. That would be a bit unfair, even if it does suck for us. And we, quite frankly, I'm tempted to just eradicate, just get rid of this entire horrible organization. But um, there has to be some other means of getting your name back through extraplanar records, considering they're the ones who hold your contract.
Rowan, I'll say this. For whatever frustration you hold, there is something very pragmatic about what Sweetbriar is saying to you.
What does pragmatic mean?
Yeah, I don't know that word means either.
Pragmatic is it is a way of sort of cutting losses, balancing risk and reward. It is maybe not the way you want to go, but the way that is most likely to at least work. That's pragmatic. It is not how I like to live my life. Indulgent.
When you're working with an ex-aristocrat, you're gonna get pragmatism.
Fine. Well, if we're gonna take care of this legally, I'm gonna need the papers.
Uh, there's not a question there. They don't respond.
I never said anything about legality, to be fair. I just said that we go directly to the source and potentially kill them.
Well, if they're not gonna hand it over, I'm just gonna pick them up.
They're on the floor. You can retrieve them. Actually, no,
Papers
I
of
think
what?
you had them. If I remember correctly, because you looked at
Oh,
them.
well, if I am still holding them, then okay. Well, then I didn't need to say that. I'm already holding them.
Okay, you have them. Do you want to take them with you? Is that the intent?
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna try to like confront extraplanar, they're gonna need the evidence because if we just come up empty-handed, they're gonna be like, well, "I don't know what you're talking about." You know?
Not entirely wrong.
Sweetbriar will kind of look at Tig, and then at Rowan, and then back at Tig, and um, we're taking your contract with us. We'll say that we hadn't met you if it comes up, but that we stole this contract when we found it, and that you had nothing to do with it.
You see a tear start to run down along their nose from their left eye, and they sort of sniffle a little bit, and they say, "That won't save me."
What will?
Once I'm out of my contract, they'll be looking for someone else to play Tig, for at least a brief period of time. That name will not be claimed.
So we could just take it back when it's unclaimed.
The timing would be imperative, but you could find a way. And they smile wryly.
How do I claim it?
They stop staring at themselves and turn around and look at you directly, Rowan. And they say, if there is an unclaimed name, one could make a petition to the court. Or they could trade a name, and they sort of look thoughtfully if that could work.
I have names I could give up that are still associated with myself.
They look at you, Sweetbriar, and say, there is only one true name for each soul.
There's a family name that is still technically a true name. And the one that I was using wasn't necessarily my true name anyway.
They look at you, somewhat impressed, I think, and say, brains of the operation. How long does Zone of Truth last?
Shit. Okay. I accidentally clicked on something. Let's see. 10 minutes.
Okay. We're getting on a little bit past halfway through this. And I think you start to feel that magic beginning to flag.
Okay. How does name trading work?
They turn and look at you and sort of look down and scrunch up their brow. And they say, do you understand commodities?
What does commodities mean?
Do you say that as Rowan?
That'd be on brand.
I also genuinely don't know what that word means.
Commodities are essentially anything that you can assign a value to.
So it's capitalism, but with names as currency.
Bingo, boingo.
Gotcha.
Boingo
Circle,
boingo.
yeah, circle gets the square. And I think that as they look out, they say, just remember, you always have to trade up. And they smirk.
Can you trade the names of other people, or do they have to be yours?
You can potentially hold a contract on a name.
I was going to marry royalty in hell. If I could say, give someone the name of the individual of hellish royalty I was going to marry, would that count as trading up even if it was not my name?
You would have to find a way to deliver their name.
Easy. Cool. Red, my dear friend, how would you feel about helping me find someone who, of Fey descent, who would be willing to officiate a wedding
Um,
and help us in this trading of names?
I don't, I don't know where the fuck this is going, but that's the best plan we got.
It's a plan. Murder is still an option, but if necessary, I'm willing to go home and get married
as you
to a
utter the
woman.
word, as you utter the words, get married. Can I get a Constitution saving throw from the two of you, please?
5.
Yep.
16.
Uh, we see the scene around you shift in a flash. And very quickly, both of you are inundated with a very dry heat, reeking of brimstone and ash. The smell of burned bones singeing your nostrils, and almost immediately your tongue begins to go dry. Your goat eyes blink desperately to stay moisturized, Rowan. But as you look out, you see hues of red and orange and black, and see a plume, a cloud that hangs over the sky of soot and ash and smoke. And you look to your right, Rowan, and as your vision comes back, you see a little group of imps jumping from floating rock to floating rock until one of them pushes another, and they fall into the lava flow that runs past the two of you. And as you look over, that imp sears and sizzles and pops and screams as they hit the lava. And then about 4 seconds later, you start to see it reincorporate back behind the group
Respawn.
and then start to run across those rocks again.
All right,
Uh,
that's a mood.
and Rowan or Sweetbriar, you get those two nostrils full of brimstone and ash, and immediately begin to heave in terror.
Did the doppelganger get teleported with us, or
Did the what?
the doppelganger get teleported?
No, they did not.
Jesus.
No, they did not at all. You do still have a squeak under your arm,
Do I
uh,
also have the
and
con? their contract.
No, no, they don't suffer from conditions like that. And yeah, as you look down, Sweetbriar, you see your face reflected in the obsidian stone glass sheet that you're on. And as you start to look up, you see the inversion of the archway. Wrought with terrifying letters that say "Welcome to Avernus,"
I
and
was gonna say welcome to hell.
it's pretty much yeah.
Do
Uh,
you want to see the clothing that Sweetbriar got changed into when they teleported?
yes, I would.
Perfect,
Oh wait, they can
because
do that?
I'm saying it's happening because I think his mother was waiting for him to come home. This is the dress he's been put in.
Yes. And as we see that collar reflected in the darkness, uh, can I get perception checks from the two of you, please?
Even with my passive of 24, you need a check from me.
Just do it.
29 total, 20 plus 9.
Okay.
Natty 20.
14.
Okay. You see in that reflection in the obsidian, you're just terrified to bring your eyes up to behold it in person. You're praying still that this is a dream. And then you see this huge, demonic looking face with big, curled horns, which turn back in on themselves near the tip. And a mouth dripping with black, inky ichor, huge, gnarled teeth, and spiky bone protrusions with this leathery gray, like look like skin stretched over too many bones, actually rises up over the archway of that gate, and you see the claw grab the sign as it looks down into the reflection of you. And then there's a terrifying clink, 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 clink. And Rowan, as you look out, that huge demonic looking visage is no longer there. There is a very tall, very beautiful woman striding towards you, her horns curled in that same fashion. And we follow her footsteps in these silver tipped stiletto platform boots. And as we follow up past buckle after buckle after buckle of blued steel, we see her robes beginning to billow as her speed picks up. And the ting 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 rings in your ears in a threatening manner. And looking down into the reflection, still Sweetbriar, you see the face and horns of your mother reflected, looking at your reflection in kind.
The name that she would use to him, just so for him, just so you're aware, is Honesty.
Okay. And
That's policy.
nice. Uh, and she almost starts with a hiss, and looks down and says, "Welcome back, darling." And raises her hands up, her long nails split down the middle with a almost soft dark purple and glossy black on each one of the nails. And her skin is seems to gradiate between a very soft pastel lavender and a dark ash color. And her long robes never seem to drape back much farther than her forearms. And you can see that there are insanely intricate tattoos rolling down her arm, as if it seems to be a blend of like Sylvan and is it Infernal? It's Infernal.
Infernal's the one that's spoken by tieflings.
And it has this swirling pattern, vivisected by the sharp lines of Infernal, and those tattoos climb up her very exposed chest to right at the base of her throat, where it all seems to sort of point like two chevrons towards her vocal cords.
Sweetbriar's had the freeze response. He cannot speak, cannot move, is absolutely terrified.
She snaps, and can I get a wisdom saving throw, please?
Me too. Or...
Nope, just Sweetbriar.
I'm gonna
2 plus 3, 5.
She says up, and as if you had been lifted by your chin, you are on your feet. And Theo also stands up alertly, and in the finest sort of proper stance. Rowan?
Yeah, I'm just gonna stand. If I'm not already standing close to Sweetbriar, I'm just gonna stand close to them. Try to be comfort, I guess. Can't really do much of anything, but just don't want to be far from them.
As you take 2 steps forward, we see this transition from your glittery, shiny, colorful fishnet, barely clothing. And at your second hoof fall, we see a black straight-legged pant with a satin trim, and your hooves are painted a very, very shiny, glossy black. And upon the third step, we move up your body and see that you are wearing a very fashionable tuxedo. It has 4 buttons with a very small overlaid collar of dark purple and an encrusted gem at your throat, which looks like it should fall off of this shirt. And as you fall in line, Mommy looks down and snaps her fingers again, and we see just demon after demon after demon after demon begin to fall in line in this nuptial procession. And
does Squeak have any attire?
Squeak has a little bow tie that goes, all the way around. It should just fall off, but because the little ridges in their exterior, it does not.
I think this is very good and great, and I think it would be very funny if Sweetbriar's mother's name was Teresa.
Done.
Mother Teresa.
Y'all didn't ask the dwarven woman's name, and I'm deeply offended.
We didn't have time. Okay, it's just. Well,
if you could, nope. You see, now I have to keep it from you forever until she becomes a recurring character.
I mean, that would be nice. She was a nice lady.
She got teleported to hell with us because we talked to her once and she was nice to you.
Uh, I mean, increases the odds dramatically. Um, her name was Lisbonicus Negadorus.
That's such a good name. I'm sorry we didn't ask.
And I hope that Lisbonicus comes back and visits us again sometime.
God, so do I.
She's my new
I'm
favorite.
sorry I got us dragged to hell. I did not think this would happen.
It's a real shame. Especially because as Teresa turns around and beckons with a single purple and black nail, you begin to come as called, Sweetbriar, and begin marching. And as you do, we see a veil begin to form around your face and head, and a long, like twisting paisley lace begins to cascade down behind you. And we see two imps grab the train of your dress and veil at the same time. And they have little white collars with black bow ties and begin to process in behind you. And we see the gates of Avernus open, covered in spikes and more than a few chunks of flesh still hanging from the razor points that keep souls trapped here interminably. And we watch this procession continue through the gates. And as you look ahead, you see a murmuration of flying demons as they bend one way and then the other. And you hear them begin to screech in chorus as they swirl around these huge volcanic spires that are dotted with windows. Many of them have been like stone shaped to give them a really terrifyingly refined nature. And as you wind down this path to the city, you see another archway. And as you approach those walls, it is an absolute fucking horror show. There are people chained up on the walls, still living question mark. And you cannot understand how bodies that have decomposed that much could possibly still hold themselves up. And you see sunken eyes turn towards your party just across the wall, dotting the entire space. And you hear groans that almost sound like the underpinning of the chorus of demons swirling overhead.
I would very much like to roll a religion check.
Great. Roll me a religion check, please.
Cool. I'm calling out to the archfey this time because I got a fucking I got a 17 plus 5.
What do you say?
22. I'm calling out to the archfey, just being like, just hey, I know this is a long shot, but I'm trying to help someone I care about, and I am giving up my freedom to do so, essentially. And if you would be willing to make a new contract with me, I will terminate my bonds to the Celestial that I follow and follow you instead if you can send someone to take the woman I'm marrying's name from her and trade it for that of the true name of my friend.
Um, Great. That's really beautiful. And then we see you walk across this drawbridge with the procession of demons lined up behind you. And as you enter the city proper, guys, the decor does not get less grotesque. There are cages with individuals in them, again, in various states of living question mark. It stinks of urine and feces that have been aged and heated, superheated for thousands of millennia. It is absolutely putrid here, and it almost seems what waste washes into the thin cracks between the stones of this place just sort of gets recirculated back on top. And dripped back on top of everyone. It is absolutely unnerving. The fetid nature of this space. And to make things even more enjoyable, there is, as you go a level further in, a market square in which people and beasts are being slaughtered before you. As both entertainment and an opportunity to sell off their parts to the highest bidder. It doesn't seem there's any real money changing hands, but the expressions of both delight and frustration abound. The screams of the individuals who are still alive while being vivisected seem almost to demand no deep breath to continue screaming at the top of their lungs. And you see Teresa look around in absolute delight as she clicks her nails together and her heels click and ring through this space with a terrifying reverberation.
I'm gonna cover Squeak's eyes.
I think Theo is being dissipated for now.
Okay.
Heather does. Wow, wrong character. Sweetbriar does not want Theo to witness any of this,
Okay.
and does not want to risk Theo being traumatized by being taken away by someone else and slaughtered, only to come back alive again later when
Yeah.
resummoned. He doesn't want that for him, so he's
Dispelling.
dissipating. He's dispelling Theo for
Okay.
now, and I think he would like glance at Rowan and then very like how close to his mother is he?
How close do you want to be?
I don't want a relationship with her. Thanks. No. I I believe I feel like she would be like next to him, if not a little in front of him.
Okay.
He would look up at Teresa very and like his demeanor has completely changed since being here, not just because of the command spell, but because of the fact that he's like hated here.
How tall are you?
With his horns, he's a solid 5 foot.
Okay. As you look up at your mom, she's 6'4", 6'5", before the horns.
Yeah, I
Uh,
got my height from my dad.
uh,
My
and
dad.
the horns, God, I really love how they come out thick, and then start to curve upward at quite a steep angle. And as they get to the ends, that curling back in, almost makes them look like grabbing appendages. And the perspective here, as you look almost straight up to regard her, she turns and looks down, and that halo of darkness over her head almost seems to dim the illumination between you and her, dropping out the contrast of smoke behind her. And she says, or actually, sorry, one thing. First, that command spell has dissipated. You are at this point moving of your own volition.
Okay.
So feel free to express yourself um,
Okay.
as much as you feel safe doing.
Not at all.
Um,
He's Sweetbriar is immensely anxious. He knows that he's going to see Lilith, the woman who he's supposed to be marrying. Kill her. Kill him. But he'll look up at his mother, and as he's like glancing back at Ty, he's very clearly uncomfortable, anxious, whatever. But like also completely aware his mom doesn't give a shit. And he'll um as they're walking still, he'll be like, Mother, this is a dear friend of mine. He's the reason that I came to sense and came back to marry Lilith. And I would appreciate if you would make an exception to our traditions and allow him to act as my best man.
Um, she looks. She actually stops, and you didn't really realize at the time that there was this very not even cacophonous, just low thrumming of footsteps and paws and claws padding behind you. But at the sudden stop of her and the absolute lockstep of the demons behind you, the silence in that 1/2 second is deafening. And then you hear the shrieks of these demons in the distance singing their haunting chorus. And she looks at Sweetbriar and then looks at Rowan and then smiles huge. Uh,
everyone's just like, hi, Miss. I don't know your name actually. Hi.
you can call me Teresa. And she like curls her hand out, each of her nails looking like daggers.
As she moves to do this, Sweetbriar flinches as though he's expecting to get the shit kicked out of him.
And she extends her hand as if to shake yours.
Okay, yeah, I'll to shake your hand.
She shakes your hand, and then she clasps it delicately with her other hand, and she says, "You brought my baby back to me." Um, and she turns and looks at Sweetbriar, and I think now Sweetbriar, you're like absolutely ready for it now. And she looks at you and smiles, and you see her eyes just like illuminate with red fire. I mean, like just pure red fire. And you see that illumination fade and two little wisps of smoke from her cooling irises. And she looks down at you. Yes, Finn.
Okay, I actually have a question for Wyatt about Briar lore because I'm curious about something.
Hit me with it.
Okay, so Briar is a trans man, right?
Yes.
Okay,
He is.
and they were set to marry a woman.
Yes.
So is their family like transphobic but not homophobic?
So Briar was set to marry the woman before he came out. So they're not homophobic. They don't necessarily like that he's not a woman, but in like a lot of how he dresses is most of it's for himself, but a lot of it is like if I don't dress this way to appease my mother, I'm going to be killed. So they're weird. They still call him the right pronouns. They still call him all of the right things except for name wise. They call him Honesty still, but that's really it.
I think also that Rowan, you sort of pick up on that. I think that as you're looking, you're like, okay, uh, I remember these feelings of ostracism, of being ostracized. for these aspects. You don't see those immediately coming to a head or any concerns about that necessarily. But can I get an insight check, Rowan, please?
Uh, 21.
Yeah, as you look at her, she looks down and you think, like, between the red eyes and the way that Sweetbriar is carrying themselves, that this woman's about to do something cruel. And you look around and you're like, okay, yeah, no, okay, not entirely surprising. And then she doesn't. She looks down at Sweetbriar and says,
Oh,
"Yes,
sorry, I have another question, kind of off topic, but how do you get a familiar? Like, would I be able to make Squeak my familiar?
I have the spell Find Familiar, which is the reason I have it. It's a warlock thing
yeah.
for me.
You can have a pet or a compatriot, but without necessarily magical means. They're not technically familiar as a magical manifestation
Oh,
of you.
okay.
Which is why Theo has so many bright colors.
I
Correct.
thought it was like a pet that you make a magic bond with.
That's in real life.
There are beast bonds and things like that that you can get. Those are actually ranger spells. But there's some mechanic there that we could implement if need be.
I mean, I think I can trust Squeak now. They have stayed with me this whole time. I guess if they wanted to leave, they could have just wiggled out of my arm and left.
There's no reason for Squeak to do anything. You're carrying them around. You gave them water. They were entertained. The scenery's changing. That's new. They're used to just seeing grass and the things they're eating. I mean,
oh yeah, do they need to eat? Are they hungry?
you don't see that they've given. They don't. You don't see them expressing any needs currently.
Yeah, I'll just be like, you can eat a couple imps if you want, if you're hungry.
I'm pretty sure that would also like make you look good in the eyes of my family. Fed them.
As a truce.
They just squeak as you look down and ask and inquire. Their eyes just sort of roll up, those big dopey eyes, and they just go squeak.
Hadley, I have to ask, in Avernus, is there an orgy pit because less demons and shit are a thing?
So there's actually different types of orgy pits. And
party in the orgy pit.
My personal favorite is the pasta orgy pit. It's the pasta orgy pit. There's just all sorts of pastas and rich olive oils. Which are sort of smolder. You got to keep putting fresh olive oil into it because otherwise the oil will burn, and so they have to sort of like pump out the old oil and put in fresh oil. And you see them wringing out Italians and condensing the olive oil to replace.
You get close to it and you just hear the fucking Pizza Time song.
Yes. And here's the thing about all of the assortment of orgy pits. They look a lot like a color wheel. And sort of the like if you had a Venn diagram meets a color wheel, that would be what these orgy pits look like. They're actually sort of housed separately from the drudgery of just torture. There's sort of a pleasure aspect to that, even in the pain, and so that is sort of like up on some other like volcanic mountains. There is a winding, there's a winding path of broken glass that you have to drag yourself across to get up there.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Good to know.
It's a good time. And then your mom
sounds hellish.
Then your mom looks down and says, "That man sounds like a great idea." and turns and resumes her walk. And as she does, both of you feel like these demons just like boom, immediately starting to move forward in lockstep with her. And she strides through another sort of like tier in this city. And as she gets to this one, there's a large plaza up here, and you see people. They're suspended, like the one leg with the other one, sort of, like this. And there's people shooting bows and arrows at them. And you see the people with the bows and arrows. They are crying profusely, and the person who's upside down is obviously of relation to them, and is begging them to stop, and won't die no matter how many arrows they shoot at the person. And so it's just constant screaming. And there's about 6 dozen of those on this huge plaza. And there's individuals at the top of this large fountain of blood, just being sacrifice after sacrifice after sacrifice, like boom, 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 and then just blood, 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 and there's a little blood fountain at the bottom that just spurts up, and you see a couple of imps, and they sort of like dip their head in and just like blah, 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 and drink their fill, and then they just come up just covered in blood, and you can stride through there. And as you look towards the far end of this plaza, you see a very tall, angular building with sharp obsidian glass plates. They don't look like they're housed in any sort of framework. They just look like someone put it there and it stayed. And there's this intricate design to all of this black glass as it climbs up to a spire that seems to pierce through the cloud of smoke and ash that comprises the entire goddamn sky down here. And Teresa turns back and looks down at Sweetbriar and says, I carried my anger for you for so many years, but now that you're back, I'm so grateful you are. And as they say that, you see this murmuration of demons begin to swirl around, and very quickly you see them begin to grab a hold of the different pieces of this glass menagerie. And suddenly there's just an army of fucking demons. And a number of them begin to flap down to the entrance of this structure, which seems to be a singular slice between two large triangular pieces of obsidian glass. And as they descend, you see a swirl of smoke, and they sort of spread out into like two here, and two all the way back. And as you look at them, they're each wearing really nicely fitted tuxedos. And their wings come out through the back of the jacket and loom largely, obviously being held out for presentation. And as that swirl of smoke climbs and builds, and we see ash swirling around, and you can smell brimstone and jasmine. And Sweetbriar, as you look on, you see her standing there. She looks human. She stands about 5'4", and she has sort of a medium tan skin. She has hair that goes from a dark chestnut to almost a wispy blonde, and it curls down around her figure. And as you look out, you see a black dress with a lacy collar. And she's wearing the same fucking dress as you. And she looks out and she goes, what the fuck? Really? 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 And you can actually hear all four of those sort of like demon guards snickering, and she starts to get angry, and this just sort of like sets off this cacophony of cackling between the four of them. And she walks over and looks down at one of these demons, seeming to have like grown in stature. And she reaches out and grabs this demon who stands nearly 8 feet tall, with this huge wingspan, and she slams him down on the ground, and you see this orangey light emit from her hand and burn through his neck. And his head tilts to the side and begins to crumble into ash, and all that's left of this guy, as the bones and leather all turn to dust, is the goddamn tuxedo. And she looks down and says, someone make sure that that makes it back to the store. I'm not paying for an extra day. And she turns, and now seemingly less overwhelming a figure, she walks up towards Sweetbriar and looks down at you. And she says, you're not going to stand me up anymore, are you?
No, I'm not.
Good. And then she leans down, like right in your face, and she screams, because hell hath no fury like a woman scorned! And we see just like heat, heat and pressure burning at your face. We see your eyelids start to flap, and we see your veil blow up so powerfully that the two imps are hanging by it behind you.
And I think Sweetbriar is he's used to this kind of thing. He can kind of just shut off his emotions a little bit, which I think he's kind of started to do just because he doesn't want to keep the whole terror thing because it's not. So he's just kind of shutting off his emotions a little bit and just and we'll look up at her and nod and I apologize for making you wait so long. I was foolish in the past and I refuse to be now.
Uh, she looks fucking aghast. She does not know what to do with this. She stops and looks at you, and her eyes just sort of like twitch a little bit. And she says, "We're really doing this." Uh, huh.
Oh, I suppose we are. Yes.
Hey then. And she turns to look towards your mother, and your mother smiles and demurs, something you've never seen her do in her entire fucking life, not yours neither. And you see Lilith turn and face the same direction as you, right beside you, and she reaches down for your.
And I will take it.
And as the two of you begin to step forward, we see these demons forming this long corridor, umbrellaed by their overlapping wings. And the two of you, as you march down this aisle, we see Rowan on one side and your mother on the other. And as you pass these demons, Rowan, can I get? Do you speak Infernal? Cohen? I can't remember.
Yeah, years of being around tieflings in the material plane, he picked up on it.
Yeah. As you are striding down this, you hear these guttural utterances of these demons, and they are all chanting this demonic blessing on Sweetbriar and Lilith. And we follow this procession up to where these obsidian glass stairs lead upward and upward to a single tier and then up again to the landing at the huge. I mean, like, it is just absolutely overwhelming the scale of the structure you are about to go into. And as you pass beyond the threshold of these two huge pieces of obsidian, you begin to hear an organ play. And the March of the Bride begins. And that is where I'll leave you tonight.
Damn it. This is
Um,
not what I expected. I'm so sorry.
I'm not sorry at all. I hope you all had a good time tonight. I certainly did. I'm very grateful to have the two of you at the table with me this evening, and that we got to go back and visit these characters.
Yeah, like okay, no offense, like I like the baby bards, but I just think the OG bards are more interesting.
I
I
think I agree
Yeah,
with you simply because the OG bards have had so much more story.
yeah, I think that's a huge part of it, and I could certainly see the level of investment there. Um, I also really like that we can kind of go back and forth because we can explore something new, we can visit something old, and maybe the twain shall meet. I don't know. I'm not in charge of this thing.
They're in the same universe. It's fine.
They are definitely in the same universe.
Because didn't I'm pretty sure Extra Planar Records reached out to the baby bards.
Yeah, yeah, they sure did.
Yeah.
But they're extra planar records, so it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter.
it doesn't.
They go everywhere. Um, Lovely. It's great seeing y'all.
Thank you for giving me such a terrible wedding. I love it.
Is
Oh, don't worry,
I
we're just getting started.
Oh, trust me, I was gonna shoot off one last prayer before we ended, but you'd ended. But I
You
rolled.
might you
I
might need to
rolled.
do it first thing. Just go ahead and write that note down.
I rolled a 24.
That's good.
Yeah,
Write
next
it down.
time.
imagine that during the whole like this like montage of them walking through hell that White Wedding is playing.
Yes. Mwah. Ah, one of my favorites.
Demon weddings will always turn into the red wedding from fucking.
There's a bunch of people gonna die. This is for sure.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even Dothraki, it's not a party if 7 people won't die. Lovely. Unfortunately, I have to bid you adieu and au revoir and remind you, as always, be good, take care of yourselves, and if you can't be good, don't get caught. And if you do get caught, don't say shit. Bye, everybody. Mwah, 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 mwah.
7 dead for the 7 sins. Good night.
Night.